Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Cory McKane on the line, and he's CEO over at We Strive. Cory, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite. Absolutely.
Awesome. I'm excited to get into what you're doing over at We Strive, and also I know you have a podcast. Definitely want to help you promote that. Always love to recommend great podcasters. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I think I have a pretty typical entrepreneurial thing. I didn't really know what the word entrepreneur was until Shark Tank came out, I guess. I feel like most people didn't know what that was. And I think as soon as Shark Tank came out, everyone was calling themselves an entrepreneur. I did like the whole candy sales as a kid and all that. I was always trying to, have multiple jobs, make as much money as I could. And then the whole entrepreneurship thing didn't really start until I got my accounting degree in college. And my senior year, I had this idea for this app. And I have a very long story that we definitely couldn't fit into this segment. Definitely couldn't fit into like a 2-hour podcast. But yeah, it's a bit long story short. I just had this idea. I wanted to create a marketplace for fitness plans. I looked at two sides of the market. I looked at my friends that were going to the gym and didn't really know what to do, and or my friends that were even experienced and were kind of just lost, like they didn't really have a new program to follow. They wanted to mix it up. And then they ended up, going on Google or just asking a buddy. I thought it was kind of ridiculous that wasn't a more structured environment to find programs. And on the flip side, I saw a lot of personal trainers that had so many fitness programs and these amazing plans that they would create for their clients over the years. And then there was no formal place for them to sell them. So we combined the two and created a marketplace, and we launched it about 1.5 years ago. And then we just recently launched the combination of the marketplace with a client management tool for trainers. So essentially the back end is a client management tool, so we handle billing, all the software that they need, program creation, et cetera. And then we still have the marketplace in the mobile app.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. And I think that's a great transition. Let's just jump right into to We Strive. So tell us a little bit more about the app and the business.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been working on it for quite a long time now. I mean, the first couple of years, it's been kind of drawn out because I didn't have any, I didn't even, know what tech was. I didn't know anything about, coding languages or fundraising or pitch decks or anything like that. So it started off pretty rough. I didn't know it was pretty rough. I thought I was doing really well. In retrospect, it's kind of embarrassing, the steps I took. But, started off kind of just doing what I thought was correct and, bringing on friends and family that didn't know what they were doing either. And, I launched a website, and then I spent tens of thousands of dollars hiring the wrong team and launched a really bad app. And so just a whole bunch of that stuff. And eventually it led to me moving to LA, where I had made a lot better connections. And like I said, we launched that first app about 1.5 years ago. Whole lot of trials and all that with that first launch. That's a whole other story as well. And then started working on this update, and we finally launched this about a month ago. So basically, we're just getting as many personal trainers on board as we can, making sure that we can get exercise on board. So how the mobile app works from an exerciser standpoint. So you can download the mobile app. It's a totally free app. We do have free options, like you can use our workout journals to track all your workouts. We have a records tab to track your growth for specific exercises in a graph. And then we've got a social feed, so you can connect with other exercisers and kind of follow the same programs. The next step is we have a full marketplace. So we're actually the biggest marketplace on the planet for fitness plans. So we've got about 250 personal trainers right now selling programs from around the world. And instead of getting like a 5-day PDF or like a little quick 1-day workout, you purchase actual 3 to 4 to sometimes 6-month programs. And they're only anywhere from $10 to $40 for the whole thing, and they save forever on your phone. And then on top of that, you can also go to the My Trainer tab, and you can work out with any personal trainer that's currently a part of the My Trainer program. So basically, they'll become your private trainer. They'll create custom plans for you, and then it's all done through the app. And then to kind of summarize on the flip side, like I mentioned, personal trainers can run their whole business on the back end. They can sell fitness plans, which is a new revenue stream for them in the mobile app, and then they can also get clients from the social concept as well.
Man, that's amazing. So you really solved both sides of the problem. So meaning, there's a lot of great trainers out there that it's not hard for them to necessarily do their personal fitness brand within their community that they're training, because if they're doing good work, then people are attracted to them. But doing that other logistical part of it that may not be in their wheelhouse, you went through a lot of trial and error. Some things worked well, some didn't, and you had different iterations. But can you imagine for the trainer that wants to go out there and try to launch their own app, like the amount of money and cost and like just the scalability, where now they don't have to do that. They can just plug into We Strive. They can leverage all the hard work that you've done, and now it's also, the way I see it is it's kind of like a mini mall or something like that, when you see a McDonald's next to a Burger King, and I probably shouldn't use that analogy, considering we're talking about wellness and health. Maybe I shouldn't use McDonald's as an example, but you put them all together, and what happens? Everybody's sales go up. So it seems like the same kind of lift would be possible through something like We Strive, right?
We'll take the analogy. I won't ever refer to myself as the.
I know. Take the other. I just meant you group them. You group them together.
Absolutely.
You group restaurants together.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. And absolutely. And I actually, for like a quick case study of, there's definitely been, let's call it maybe 20, maybe even 40 trainers that have made their own apps that have been pretty successful. Some vary, but out of that many, I know of at least a couple hundred, if not, there's probably tens of thousands that have tried to make their own app. One of our main competitors, actually, one of their business models is they make a specific app for. They'll make an app customized, quote unquote, for the trainer, and it's just a stupid idea, because then you have to force people to download your app, and then there's no customer service behind it. There's no beta testing. There's no customer coding support, anything like that. But anyways, so we have one of our trainers, really great guy, but before I met him, he put about $25,000 into making his own app.
I knew it.
Yeah, and so he probably got like maybe like 100 downloads.
I knew
so
it.
I mean, it's just not worth it. I mean, what I always recommend to entrepreneurs in general, whether it's fitness or not, is just make a mobile website before you make an app. And then secondly, especially in the training world, like find a platform like We Strive, and our mobile competitor is pretty crappy, but I mean there is other options than wasting a lot of money on building your own platform especially before you even test your market.
Let's talk about it. The app. So we've talked about the app from the standpoint of the trainer, who it makes like just complete sense for them to sign up. Let's talk about it from the standpoint of the end user who's actually using it for fitness. So tell us a little bit more about kind of the feedback you've received there.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I mean, you have a lot of different options to work out. You can use the free tools, you can use the marketplace, or you can find your own private trainer. When we first launched, we had a ton of very annoying bugs. And so we just fixed those this past week, actually. So we're doing a big update release probably either tomorrow or Wednesday to get all those fixed. But it was kind of like it was resetting your program. It was shutting off your volume on your headphones. So super irritating stuff. And unfortunately, we did a big push launch right on New Year's Day, and my whole dev team's over in Ukraine. My design team, everything is over there, and they have like an 8-day Christmas that starts on New Year's Day. So
you had to compile Happy New Year.
Yeah, so we had this big push, and everyone's like excited to use the app, and we have trainers that are going to sell on it. And then I found all these bugs that I didn't notice, because unfortunately, you can do all the beta testing you want, but it's completely different until you're actually using the app for an applicable situation. So like, what was happening was, for example, like, and this is to describe how annoying coding is. the app worked just fine, except for if you were following a program, everything would work fine. But if you use the timer at any point, like if you turn the timer on, if you have a little timer at the bottom that can record your rest times and all that stuff, if you turned it on and turned it off or just touched it at any point, if that happened, then if you left the app for more than a minute, if you left it under a minute, it didn't matter. But if you turned the timer on, left the app for more than a minute and came back, it would reset your workout. Very specific scenario. Makes no sense how that would be the scenario, but that's what it was. So unfortunately, like that's just an example of like something that, you know, when I was beta testing it, I didn't think to turn the timer on and then leave the app for a minute and a half and see if it would reset. So, you know, just stuff like that you're not able to test. And so by the time I started working out again after Christmas was over, my development team was already on, you know, a week and a half break, and I was kind of just, you know, stuck with my hands in my pockets, couldn't really do anything. So, but besides that, it's been really cool though. We've got some really good feedback. The trainers are really loving it. They've been able to actually get some new clients, which is pretty crazy this early. And then on top of that, we had a couple people email us, well, to be frank, saying like it's one of the worst user experiences they've ever had because of the bugs. But they were like, we're emailing you because we love the app and we want to see it do well. And I'm still using it every day because I love the concept, but like the bugs are killing me. And I was like, I know, it's killing me too. And so now we have to be really happy about it. So yeah,
that's amazing, and I love doing that because I love when I hear that, because getting feedback from it knows you're right on the right track. Like the worst thing is it doesn't work and it's silent. That means nobody cares. At least here people care.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So Cory, let's with the couple minutes we have left, tell us a little bit more about the podcast.
Yeah, so basically I love talking to people, love hearing people's stories. I'm sure as you do as well. And last year, I had always kind of thought about doing a podcast, and then I listened to this guy I met's podcast, and I kind of just had like I could totally do that kind of a thing. And I started interviewing one person after another. My first interview was with a Shark Tank guy that got a deal, and then it kind of just fell from there. I ended up interviewing the VP of the NFL. I've interviewed the guy that ran SEO Airbnb. I've interviewed Kanye's CTO. I mean, so I've gotten like some pretty cool interviews throughout. I've done about 55 so far, and I have like 5 more lined up this week. And I don't know, it's been a really cool experience. So, I mean, I'm sure you're kind of on the same boat where it's really cool to, whether it's 20 minutes or an hour, to just kind of sit down and, hear someone's story and be able to kind of ask some questions about it and everything.
And what's the name of the podcast so people can find it?
It's also called We Strive. Yeah, so everything's We Strive.
Perfect. Well, hey, Cory, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background as an entrepreneur and all the great work you're doing over at We Strive, the app, and also the podcast. So everybody listening, go check out that app, and, of course, go check out the podcast. And, Cory, thanks again for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Without you, there would be no show, so thank you. Keep tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Means a lot to me and my team. And, Cory, thanks again for coming.
Absolutely. You have an awesome day, and best of luck with the rest of your interviews.